Everyone, and welcome back to the second and the last Majlis recited by Maulana Sarmadi Rizvi Sahib. To start off the Majlis, can I request Syed Shabir Rasa to recite the Holy Quran?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لا ترونها عين اليقين ثم لا تسألن يومئذ عن النعيم صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Thank you, Brother Shabir. Now, may I please request Aman Heather and Mehdi Heather to come and recite a salam for us. By Muhammad wa ala Muhammad sallallahu Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین تیرا چہرہ تیری آنکھیں بھول کب پائی حسین آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین بس میں گھبرائی تھی خنجر تجھ پہ چلتا دیکھ کر بس میں گھبرائی تھی خنجر تجھ پہ چلتا دیکھ کر پھر کسی مشکل میں گر کر میں نہ گھبرائی حسین چلتے ناقے سے گرایا خود کو جلدی ریت پر چلتے ناقے سے گرایا خود کو جلدی ریت پر گھٹنیوں کے بل میں تیری لاش تک آئی حسین کون تھا جو مرنے والوں میں نہیں تھا کون تھا جو مرنے تھا خوبرو بھولنے بیٹھی تو کس کس کی نہ یاد آئی حسین بہ رہے تھے آنکھ سے سو تیری رخصت کے وقت بہ رہے تھے آنکھ سے سو تیری رخصت کے بعد پھر کوئی آنسو نہ ٹپکا آنکھ پتھرائی حسین آج بھی زینب کی آتی ہے صدا بھائی حسین محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللہ.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. MashaAllah, very well recited, Aman Haider, Mehdi Haider. Now, it's my pleasure to invite Maulana Sarmadi Rizvi to commence the lecture from Muhammad wa ali Muhammad Salawat. Allahumma salli ala
محمد وآل محمد
واجب فرض.
رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل، نعم المولى ونعم النصير. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي دل على ذاته بذاته، والذي خلق المشيئة ثم خلق الأشياء بها. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين الملقب بطه والمكنى بأبي القاسم محمد.
صل على محمد وآل محمد واجب فرض.
وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المنتجبين المنتخبين المعصومين المظلومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
Allahumma
صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
اللعنة الدائمة الباقية على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. صلوات بر محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد واجب فرجه.
Respected elders, my dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Today is the second day and the last day of this series, where we are discussing the topic prophethood and imamat. under the light of the verse of the chapter of Jumu'ah. Yesterday, with whatever limited knowledge I have, I threw light upon the concept of prophethood. We tried to answer the questions raised by people, especially the Orientalists, who do not believe in the concept of prophethood. And then we discussed about the characteristics and the traits of a prophet sent by God and the roles and responsibilities. As pointed out yesterday, we said that if the concept of monotheism, the concept of Tawheed is clear for us, the remaining concepts in the Usul-ud-Din, which are Adl, Risalat, Imamat, and Qiyamat, will also be clear for us. We also discussed that all these Asl, all these 5 Asl of the Deen are totally interconnected with each other. And the problem arises when any one of these, or the most important and the root of all these usul, which is Tawheed, is not clear to anyone. I said one line yesterday, which was that if we have properly understood the philosophy behind sending a prophet or a messenger, a Nabi or a Rasul, then the discussion which has been there for the last 1400 years and which is the root cause of the differences between the different sects of the Muslim nation will be resolved, and which is the discussion of the caliphate after the prophet, who is going to be his representative, who is going to be his khalifa. Our scholars say that in the light of this very verse, which is هُوَ الَّذِي بَعَثَ فِي الْأُمِّيِّينَ رَسُولًا مِّنْهُمْ, Allah says that He is the one who sent a messenger, a prophet among the Ummiyin, among the people of Makkah. And then Allah counts the 3 basic responsibilities of that prophet, which are reciting the verses of the Quran, purifying the soul of people, yuzakkihim, tazkiyah nufus, wa yu'allimuhumul kitab wal hikmah, and giving them the knowledge, teaching them about the verses revealed unto the prophet and the hikmah, which is the hidden meaning behind the verses. It is understandable for any person having a little bit of intellect that if after prophet, Islam has to remain in its real form and Islam has to keep going on the way it kept going on in the time of the prophet, then that person who is going to take the place of the prophet should have the ability and should have those noble traits and characteristics to carry out these 3 responsibilities. Because there is very one simple thing which can be understood by any one of us, and that is that it is not expected even from a wise person among us. What to say about Allah? It is not even expected from a wise person among us to arrange for the existence of something, to make something come into existence, or to start something and do not prepare for its continuation, for its long life. What I'm trying to say is, let me just clarify that through the help of an example. If I am trying to plant a tree, if I'm trying to give existence, not in that sense of bringing something out of nothing, but if I'm trying to plant a tree, I will make sure before planting that tree that all the conditions are fulfilled for the long life of this plant. That is, I should try to plant that sapling, that plant, at a place where there is proper sunlight, at a place where or I will keep giving it water, and then I will provide it with whatever nutrients or whatever further things it requires. For example, the soil and all the different things that a plant requires to grow. If I am just going to plant a plant, I'm just going to plant a sapling, and I'm not going to take care of all these things, then anyone will not consider me a wise person, because I took a step for the existence of the plant, for the wujud of the plant, but I did not do anything for the baqa of the plant, for the continuation of its life. If this is not expected from a wise person, even among us who are not infallible, then how can we expect from Allah to give existence to religion from Hazrat Adam to the time of our Prophet, but not make any arrangements for the continuation of this religion and for safeguarding this religion till the day of Qiyamah? This is quite a logical question that can be asked. And when we go into the accounts of history and we read the books of the scholars from the other schools of thought, this is the very argument that they have given, that why was it so that people did not care to bury the Prophet? They did not participate in the burial of the Prophet. Rather, they went for selecting a caliph or electing a caliph. And this is the argument they give, is that because the doors of the guidance should not have been closed, and it was necessary that there should have been a guide after Prophet in every single era and in every single moment. Because they also believe in the narration of the Prophet that man mata walam ya'rif imama zamanahi mata mitatan jahiliyah. One who dies without recognizing the imam of his time dies the death of ignorance. So based on this hadith, they say that's why the companions left the body of the Prophet and they went to decide who is going to be the next caliph of the Prophet. Please recite the salawat on Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
So when they are giving this reason, they are trying to prove that the companions had this much care about the religion that they even left the body of the Prophet and they did not participate in the burial of the Prophet. And the more important task for them was to elect a caliph for them, so that no one dies the death of ignorance. Because if someone dies at that time, because there was no imam, he did not have the choice to have the ma'rifah of the imam of his time. This is the argument that is put forward by the scholars of the other schools of thought. And then we say, if the human beings, the companions, with all due respect to them, had this sort of care, if they were so cautious about this thing, then what about the Prophet himself? And this goes back to even Allah. Did the Prophet not know that he had to appoint someone before he leaves this world so that that person guides the humankind after him? Of course, if something is expected from us being wise, then Allah, who is not only wise, but the creator of the wisdom, cannot leave humankind without a guide after Prophet. And the point that I said in the beginning, that if we are trying to arrange for the existence, for the wujud of something, we as a wise person should also be arranging for the baqa of that thing, for the continuation of the life of that thing. And that is why we say that Allah made the system of the prophethood to give existence to the religion of Islam, and Allah made the system of the imamah to let the Islam grow and reach its peak till the day of Qiyamah. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala
So now our discussion starts with these three responsibilities mentioned in this verse. Even if for the sake of argument we deny, not we, if we accept the denial of others, like they say that on the day of Ghadir, it was not that the Prophet made Imam Ali his representative or the next Khalifa or Janashin. It is just that the Prophet was trying to say, because he knew at that time that there were some people who had grudge in their hearts for Imam Ali. And that is why he was just trying to resolve the issues. And he was trying to say that whosoever I am friend of, Ali is also his friend. Because they try to translate this word Maula as friend. However, the argument is very weak. Because we say that if you go and take a look at the khutbah of Ghadir, it is not only just one line, Man kuntu maulahu fahaza aliyun maulah. No, it is not just one line. The khutbah is almost of 2.5 hours, wherein the Prophet discussed a lot of things, discussed a lot of ahkam, and then finally the sentence starts not with Man kuntu maulahu fahaza aliyun maulah, but the sentence starts with Allahu maulai wa ana maulal mu'minin. Faman kuntu maulahu fahaza aliyun maulah. The sentence does not start with whoever I am the maula of, or taking your translation into consideration, whoever I am the friend of, Ali is also his friend. So please do not have any grudge in your hearts for him. No, the sentence starts with Allahu maulai. So are you trying to say that the Prophet said that Allah is my friend? No, he cannot say that. He is saying that Allah is my wali, he is my maula, he has the absolute authority over me. Wa ana maulal mu'minin, and I have the absolute authority over the hearts of the mu'minin, over the nufus of the mu'minin. Faman kuntu maulahu fahaza aliyun maulah. So whomsoever I am the maula of, whomsoever I have the absolute authority over him, this Ali after me has the absolute authority over him, and not only him but upon the entire ummah. So this proves that the Prophet was trying to say that after me, if anyone is going to be the guide and my successor for the Islamic nation and for the whole universe, it is of course going to be Ali ibn Abi Talib and no one else. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. But like I said, even if for the sake of argument, even though if you just go and take into consideration the books of history, you will see there that one of the champions of the companions even gave congratulations to Imam Ali there, and he said, لَقَدْ صِرْتَ مَوْلَى كُلِّ مُؤْمِنٍ وَمُؤْمِنَةٍ, that, oh Imam Ali, congratulations to you, بَخٍ لَكَ يَا ابْنَ أَبِي طَالِبٍ, you have become the Mawla of all the mu'mina and all the mu'mineen, all the believing men and all the believing women. But still, for the sake of argument, if we say that you are denying this event of Ghadir, and you are saying that this event of course happened, but this was not the announcement of the caliphate of Imam Ali after Prophet. Even then, if we take this verse into consideration, can you please put forward someone, or can you please point out someone who had the audacity to say that I can carry out all these three responsibilities? We do not see anyone there except Imam Ali himself. And I will be proving that through the help of the verses, inshallah. Please recite the salawat on Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The first responsibility of the Prophet, according to this verse, being a prophet, is that yatlu alayhim ayatih. The Prophet recites in front of the people the verses of the Quran which are revealed unto him. Now, one of you also may ask that, Maulana, this is something that we even can do. We can open the Quran and we can recite the verses, but the recitation of the verses of the Quran for Prophet is quite different from what we consider for ourselves. We are helpless in this case that the Quran should be first revealed, or in this era we should have the Quran first. We will read the verse first and then recite the verses of the Quran. But for Prophet, this is not the case. He does not require the revelation of the Quran so that he recites the verses of the Quran, because for Quran, for the revelation of Quran, we have two types of revelation. One revelation is nuzul al-daf'i, which is the revelation of the complete Quran with its entirety and in a nurani form, in a nurani form on the heart of the Prophet. Whereas the other type of nuzul, which is called in Arabic as nuzul tartibi, which is the revelation of the Quran verse by verse according to the different scenarios, according to the different situations. So Prophet had the whole reality of the Quran revealed upon his heart before even the nuzul tartibi started. And that is why we see within this Quran we have a proof which has also been used by Allama Tabatabai in the Tafsir Al-Mizan, where he says that this verse is the proof that the whole Quran was revealed upon Prophet before the revelation, verse by verse, revelation started. Quran says, in Quran Allah says, فَلَا تَعْجَلْ بِالْقُرْآنِ قَبْلَ أَن يُقْضَى إِلَيْكَ وَحْيُهُ. O Prophet, please do not be hasty in reciting the verses of the Quran before the revelation stops, before the revelation ends. If someone or if the Prophet himself is starting to recite the verse of the Quran before the revelation has not ended, this actually proves quite logically that Prophet already knew the verses of the Quran, but it was just a protocol being followed that according to the particular event that occurred, or if there is a news of the future which is being given to the Prophet, then that verse was once again revealed on the heart of the Prophet. But it was not like this, that the Prophet was getting the knowledge of that particular verse of the Quran at that very time. Rather, he had the knowledge of the complete Quran before the Nuzul Tartibi. So the case of the Prophet is that he does not require the Quran to be revealed unto him so that he recites the verses of the Quran. He already has the knowledge of the Quran in his heart. And therefore, now we have to find someone in the ummah of the Prophet, in the Muslim nation, who has the same characteristic, that he does not require the revelation of the Quran so that he recites the Quran. And therefore we see when Imam Ali was born and the Prophet went to Kaaba to take Imam Ali, and he took Imam Ali in his hands, in his lap, and he said, Ya Ali, can you please recite for me something? And Imam Ali said, should I recite from Taurat, or should I recite from Injil, or should I recite from Zabur, or should I recite from Quran? And then Imam Ali recited verses from all these books, and then from Quran he recited Surah Mu'minun, even though at that time the Quran's revelation had not started. But Imam Ali, by reciting the Quran before the revelation of the Quran, told the entire nation that I am the representative of Prophet, because I am reciting the Quran before its revelation. Others are those who require the revelation of the Quran, but I, being Ali ibn Abi Talib, can recite the Quran by seeing at the Lawh Mahfuz and reading the verses of the Quran, because people have to memorize the Quran, and we are those who have in their hearts the knowledge of the Quran. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So this is the first thing, that we have to find someone who has this ability, who has the knowledge of the Quran in their hearts, and we will point towards this, and we will throw more light upon this in the second part, where the responsibility of the Prophet is وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, that he purifies the soul of the people. Now Prophet himself has this ability to purify the souls of the entire mankind, because he is situated, he is at a position which is known in the Quran as Al-Maqamul Mahmud. His soul is at that level wherein if he is going in front of the people, or even in his absence, if people do tabarruk from him, if people are asking help from him, or if we pray unto him, we have our souls purified. Prophet at this level, that he has the ability to purify the souls of the people. So therefore we should have someone after Prophet who has this ability of purifying the souls of the entire ummah. And for that we need someone who has exact amount of power, who has this ability of purifying the souls of other people. So in Quran, we should be finding someone who has the exact nafs, the nafs which the Prophet had. I hope you must have recalled the verse towards which I am going to point to. In the ayah of Mubahala, you can go and see there that it was only Imam Ali, even though we do not have that in the verse. But if you just take a look at the incident, what Allah is saying, that bring your sons, bring your women, and bring your anfus, that is your souls. Even though for all these three things, the word was plural. It was not said bring your child. Because in Arabic, if we see, plural is for three. In English language, if we have two things, that is considered as plural. But in Arabic, it is mufrad, tasniya, and then jama. Because we have one, two, and then the plural starts from three. So in the verse, all the three words are in plural. Abna'akum, abna'ana wa abna'akum. Your sons and our sons. But there also we see that we only have two sons there present. Nisa'ana wa nisa'akum. Our women, your women. There too we only see that there is only one woman. Wa anfusana wa anfusakum. Our souls and your souls. Our nufus and your nufus. But there too we only see that as a nafs, only one person, Imam Ali, is present there. Why is this so? Because if Allah would have revealed that we will bring our son, I mean, if the singular word would have been used, we will bring our son, you will bring your son. We will bring our woman, you bring your woman. We will bring our nafs, you will bring your nafs. Then people might have said, because in the verse there was only the word, a singular word, that's why Prophet took all of these people. Or else if it would have been plural, Prophet would have taken other people also as his nafs, or other wives also as his women. That is why Allah used the plural form, so that there is total and complete permission from us that anyone can come. But of course, no one will be able to stand the ability of being Prophet's son, or being Prophet women, or being Prophet's nafs. It was only Imam Ali who had the ability and who was eligible to consider himself the nafs of the Prophet. And that's why in the Maidan of Mubahala, it was proved that whoever is the nafs of Prophet is only going to be Imam Ali alayhi salam. Recite a salawat on Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. From the very Quran itself, we have the proof. Because nafs, as you know, you might have studied, or if you go and study in the books of akhlaq, books of etiquettes, you will see there. And nafso, in the definition of nafs, in the ta'rif of nafs, they say, an-nafsu fi wahdatiha kullul quwwah. The nafs of a person alone is all the different traits and all the different talent of a person. Kullul quwwah. Whatever traits and talents and abilities and skills, whatever abilities a person has, totally they are within the nafs itself. Nafs itself is the representative of all the different abilities, skills, and talents of a person. So if someone is being called as the nafs of the Prophet, from the very Quran, it is proven that that person is going to have all the abilities and the traits of the people, and that was no one except Imam Ali. So from this verse also we have the proof that if after Prophet, someone who has the ability to guide mankind and to purify the souls of the people, that is going to be Ali ibn Abi Talib and no one else. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The third part of the verse says, so these are the two parts that we discussed, and we saw that even from the Quran itself, we have the proof that no one has the ability to carry out these tasks except Imam Ali. The third part says, وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ, and teaches them the knowledge of the book and the hikmah, which is the hidden meaning behind the verses, or the tafsir of the verses. If we take another look at the Quran, because here too we will be looking for someone in the Prophet's ummah who has the ability to teach Quran and to deliver to the people the hidden meanings behind the verses of the Quran. Here too, we may say that, of course, the companions, after the Prophet taught to them, had the knowledge of the verses of the Quran and the hidden meaning of the Quran. But here too, we need someone, like we discussed yesterday. Prophet himself was infallible. And infallibility, like I said yesterday, is that that person who is infallible should not be making any error or any fault throughout his life at any point. Now, this ability of not making any errors or faults is due to absolute knowledge, because we sometimes make mistakes. We sometimes make mistakes because we do not have enough knowledge. But prophets and the imams do not make any mistakes or do not commit any sin, na'uzubillah, because they have the absolute knowledge, the reality of everything. They have the absolute knowledge of the reality of everything, and that is why they neither commit any sin nor they make any fault. It was once said to Imam Ali, one of the companions said, "Yeah, Ali, whenever someone comes and asks you a question, you always give the reply within a blink of an eye. Please try to wait for a few seconds and just ponder upon the question." So the Imam smiled and he said, "Can you please tell me how many fingers are there? How many fingers are these?" And he said, "5 fingers." Imam said, "You did not ponder, you did not contemplate." He said, "Yeah, Ali, this is something really easy. These are just in front of my eyes, 5 fingers. I do not even have to count them." Imam Ali said, "Just like you have these 5 fingers in front of you and you do not need to think and contemplate, that is the similar case with us, that the whole world is in front of our eyes and we do not need to think about something, because we have been given knowledge by God and no one in this world has taught us." Salawat bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala
So we should find someone who has this ability, who has the knowledge of the whole Quran, just like the Prophet had the Quran revealed unto his chest, on his heart, before even the Nuzul al-Tartibi started, and he had the reality of the Quran in his heart, and he was himself the walking reality of the Quran. We should be finding someone who has these traits, because there is a philosophical point here which I would like to share with you, and I'm sorry if I'm running out of time. In philosophy, if you go and read, everything has 4 types of existence. The first is the existence in the form of word, which we say in Arabic, wujude lafzi, the existence in the form of words. So for example, if I have this glass, I will say, if I am writing GLASS, that is the textual existence of this reality. Then we have the second existence, which is called as the spoken existence, if you say, which is wujude lafzi. That was wujude katbi, the textual existence. If you write something GLASS, then there is wujude lafzi, the spoken existence, or how you can use some other word, which is, if I'm saying the word glass, this word glass, I'm saying this is the spoken existence of this reality which is lying there. Then we have the third existence, which is the existence of zihn, the existence inside the mind of someone. So whenever I have an image of glass in my mind, that is the zihni existence, the intellectual existence of something, or the mental existence of something. But these 3 existences are only there if the 4th existence, which is the real existence, the wujud haqiqi of something, which is the glass existing here in the external world. So because this glass exists, that's why it has the written existence, that is why it has the spoken existence, and that is why it has the mental or the intellectual existence, because that 4th existence, the real existence, is there. If you take into consideration the Quran which we have in our homes, this is the written existence, and the verses that we read, these are the spoken existence. And the verses that we have in our minds, because we memorize the chapters of the Quran, and it is very recommended to memorize the chapters of the Quran, So that is the mental or the intellectual existence of the Quran. Now, because we are seeing that we have these three existences, we should have the fourth and the real existence of the Quran, because this book itself is not the real Quran, not the reality of the Quran. This is the written existence of the Quran. And that is why if we have to find out where the real existence, the wujud haqiqi of Quran is, let us go to the Quran and ask, and the Quran will say, bal huwa ayatun bayyinatun fi suduril ladhina utul ilm. This Quran in reality are the verses which are there in the hearts of the people who have been given knowledge. So that is why when we go to the rawayat, we see that the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam say that the real Quran and the light of the Quran exists in our chest and in our hearts. And therefore the Prophet and his holy household is the real existence of the Quran. This is the Quran Samit. They are the talking and the Quran and Natiq walking on this earth. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So if we see that Prophet has had the responsibility of teaching the Quran and the Hikmah, we will have to find out someone who had also this ability, and someone even in this era who has this ability. Because if Quran is existing in all the three forms, there should be in every era the reality of Quran also existing. And that is also one of the proofs we give to prove the existence of Hujjah on this earth. So therefore, if you go and read the last verse of the 13th chapter of Quran, which is chapter Ra'd, the thunder, you will see the last verse, which is the 43rd verse of this chapter, where Allah says, وَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَسْتَ مُرْسَلًا. Those who have disbelieved, they say that you are not a prophet. قُلْ كَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكُمْ وَمَنْ عِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ الْكِتَابِ. So, O Prophet, do not be disheartened. You simply say that between you and me, for my prophethood, Allah is enough as a testifier, as a witness. And that person, woman, indahu ilmul kitab, and that person who has the knowledge of the complete book, al-kitab. Now, people have tried to do the tafsir of this verse in different manners, and most of the time they try not to let the falail of Ahlul Bayt come to the people. So they have made different misinterpretations. I would say that this verse is actually pointing towards the scholars of the Yahud and Nasara, because they had in their books this news that there is going to be a prophet in the next generation whose name is going to be Muhammad or Ahmad. But Allah Matabatai says in his Tafsir al-Mizan that to testify to something, you do not only need the knowledge, but you should have also faith in that thing. Because if you ask any of the Yahud or the Nasara, or you go to the scholars of Yahud or Nasara, even though they have the knowledge from their books that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was going to be the last prophet, but they will not testify to this because they do not have faith in this. Their false religion will stumble and fall apart. So that's why he says that just because you have the knowledge of something does not mean you will testify for that. You should also have faith for that. And then he says that Al-Kitab here does not refer to the Quran that exists in our hands, but this actually refers to a far higher reality, which is indallah, which is near to God. Because Allah in Quran in Surah Hijr, he says, وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا عِندَنَا خَزَائِنُهُ وَمَا نُنَزِّلُهُ إِلَّا بِقَدَرٍ مَعْلُومٍ. There is nothing in this world except that we have its khaza'in, we have its bounties, we have its reality, and we do not reveal down its reality except in a limited quantity, بِقَدَرٍ مَعْلُومٍ. So therefore the reality of Quran is also something far higher than this book which we have in our hands. Because in Surah Waqia also Allah points out to this fact, إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ. This is a noble Quran. فِي كِتَابٍ مَكْنُونٍ. And this Quran itself is in a hidden book. لَا يَمَسُّهُ إِلَّا الْمُطَهَّرُونَ. And to this hidden book, the reality of the Quran, no one has the ability to reach that reality or to access that reality except those who are the purified ones. La yamassuhu illa al-mutahharun. No one can reach the reality of the Quran except the mutahharun. So let us ask from the Quran itself, who are those mutahharun? So the Quran itself will come forward and say, innama yuridu Allahu liyuzhiba ankum ar-rijsa ahlal bayt wa yutahhirakum tathira. So these Prophet and his holy household, these are the very people who came under the cloak of the Prophet, and the Prophet himself announced that these are my Ahl Bayt, and Allah has kept all the rich and all the impurity away from them. And these are the very mutahharun who have the access to the reality of the Quran. Rather, I would say that they themselves are the walking Quran on this earth, and that is the reason that throughout the life of all the Imams, if you go, you will never find in any book of the history that someone went to any of the Imams and they asked a question and the Imam said that I will let you know tomorrow or give me some time, because they had the knowledge of the entire cosmos and the knowledge of the entire book in their hearts. Every now and then, if anyone would ask them a question, they would always answer them. And this is the real proof for us that they are the true representatives of the Prophet walking on this earth. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. So this is actually the reality of the Quran, that Al-Kitab, because it is also mentioned in the Quran that in the time of Prophet Salman, at that time the Quran was not revealed. Of course, Prophet Salman is here, and then after a few hundred years, Prophet Muhammad is there. So the revelation has not started yet, but we still see the use of the word Al-Kitab there. When Prophet Salman says, Prophet Sulaiman says, alayhi salam, that who can among you bring the Takht of Bilqis for me, the place where she used to sit. So someone from the jinn stood up and he said, I can bring it to you before you stand up from your place. Even this time was not enough for Sulaiman. And then Prophet Sulaiman said, and he looked unto someone else, and then his vicegerent and his cousin, Janab Asif ibn Baqiyah, stood up, and for him the Quran says, وَقَالَ الَّذِي عِنْدَهُ عِلْمٌ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ. Then that person stood up and started speaking who had a little knowledge of the Al-Kitab, because min has been used here, and this min is called as min at-tab'iziyah, which points out to a small part of a big reality. So Janab Asif ibn Baqiyah had a small amount of knowledge of the Al-Kitab, and our fifth Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam, Allahumma salli. He says that our brother Asif ibn Baqiyah, Allah gave him out of the 73 Asma A'zam only one Isma A'zam, and he had the ability to bring the throne of Bilqis from 1,000 miles. And Allah has given us 72 Asma A'zam. Now, if you see that the Imams or the Prophet, if they are asking the sun and they are making the sun return to its place, or if they are breaking apart the moon, please do not be apparel, please do not be confused, or do not start disbelieving in these things, because someone who had the knowledge of only one Isma Azam had the ability to bring the throne of Bilqis from 1,000 miles. Our Ahlul Bayt have the knowledge of 72 Asma A'zam, and that is why they have the ability of carrying out all these mu'jizat. Salawat bar Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So from the very verses of the Quran, we see that it was Imam Ali, and after him, his lineage, all the A'immah who have the knowledge of the Quran in their hearts, and they were the true representative of Prophet, and they had the right to lead the Ummah. Even they did not have any like for that, or they did not, na'uzubillah, have any greed for that. But it was the responsibility of the people at that time that they should have followed the commands of the Prophet. But this is what history tells us, that people only had the greed of power and fame, and they did not listen to what the Prophet said. And that's why what started in the Saqifa ended in Karbala. We see that on the 10th of the Muharram, people brutally killed that person who was the grandson of the Prophet, and even at that time they were raising Nara Takbir. I wish if someone could have asked them, who taught you this Nara Takbir? Who taught you La ilaha illallah? The person who taught you all these things, Muhammadun Rasulullah, and all the different parts of religion, is he the person you are killing right now, not the grandson of that Prophet? You can just realize, just because people denied the right of our Imam, especially the right of Imam Ali, they were so misguided and they were so, I would say, blindfolded. They had become so blind that they were not realizing that they are saying Nara Takbir, they are saying Allahu Akbar, and they are killing that person who is the grandson of the very Prophet who taught them this religion. عزیزوں، اربعین کا دن قریب ہے. ماہ سفر کی آج 17 تاریخ ہے. 3 دن کے بعد ہم اور آپ اپنے مولا کا 40واں، اپنے مولا کا چہلم منا رہے ہوں گے. ہم عزائے حسین میں مشغول ہوں گے. بلکہ میں تو کہتا ہوں کہ حقیقی عزادار کوئی لمحہ اس کی زندگی کا ایسا نہیں گزرتا کہ جب وہ حالت عزا میں نہ ہو. اس کی ایک وجہ یہ ہے کہ فضائل اہل بیت میں ان کے مصائب ہیں، اور مصائب اہل بیت میں ہی ان کے فضائل پوشیدہ ہیں. اربعین کا دن وہ دن ہے کہ وہ لوگ کہ جن کی آنکھوں کے سامنے سید الشہداء کو شہید کر دیا گیا، شام کے زندان سے رہا ہو کے اب وہ کربلا پہنچے. روایات میں ملتا ہے کہ جب یزید کے دربار میں اہل بیت علیہم السلام پیش کیے گئے تو چوتھے امام سے یزید نے کہا کہ میں آپ کی 3 شرطیں پوری کرنے کے لیے تیار ہوں. مختلف روایات ہیں، میں اختصار کے ساتھ بات کو تمام کرتا ہوں کہ چوتھے امام نے پہلی شرط رکھی کہ ہمارے شہداء کے سر کاٹ کے تو یہاں لایا ہے، ہمیں ہمارے شہداء کے سر واپس کر دے، اور تو نے جو ہمارے مال و اسباب لوٹے ہیں وہ ہمیں واپس کر دے، اور اگر تو نے میرے قتل کا ارادہ کیا ہے تو ذرا میرے حرم کو، میرے گھر کی عورتوں کو کسی کے ساتھ مدینے پہنچا دے. کچھ روایات میں ملتا ہے کہ یزید نے سر امام حسین لوٹانے سے انکار کیا، مگر علماء کا اس بات پہ اتفاق ہے کہ امام زین العابدین علیہ السلام اپنے بابا کا سر لے کے کربلا اور باقی شہداء کے سروں کو لے کے کربلا پہنچے. عزیزو، کل میں نے مصائب پڑھے تھے کہ جب وہاں سے شام سے قافلہ رخصت ہو رہا ہے تو چوتھے امام نے جناب رباب کا کرب دیکھا، اپنی والدہ کا، اور وہ زندان میں قبر سکینہ پہ ان کی ماں کو لے کے آئے. مگر آپ ذرا انصاف سے بتائیے کہ خود ان کی جب جناب سکینہ کی ماں کا یہ حال ہے تو امام معصوم ہم سے کہیں زیادہ شدت سے درد کو محسوس کرتا ہے، اس لیے کہ زمانے کے گزرنے کے ساتھ ساتھ ہم باتوں کو بھول جایا کرتے ہیں. مگر امام معصوم کی یہ خاصیت ہے کہ چاہے جتنا عرصہ گزر جائے واقعہ ہمیشہ اس کے لیے تازہ رہتا ہے، اور اسی بنا پہ اس کا غم بھی تازہ رہتا ہے اور ہم سے کہیں زیادہ شدید رہتا ہے. ارے شام سے جب چوتھے امام رخصت ہوئے ہوں گے تو بار بار، اور روایات میں بھی ہے کہ بیویاں بھی بار بار پلٹ کے شام کی دیواروں کی طرف دیکھتی تھی اور یہی کہتی تھی کہ ہائے ہمارے درمیان، ارے ہمارے بھائی بھیا حسین کی بیٹی ہوا کرتی تھی، ارے جو صبح و شام یہی کہتی تھی کہ کب گھر کو واپس جائیں گے. ارے آج جب واپس جانے کا وقت آیا تو سکینہ ہمارے درمیان نہ رہی. عزیزو یہ بڑا کرب کا مقام تھا. یہ قافلہ اب چلتے چلتے ایک ایسے مقام پہ پہنچا کہ جہاں ایک راستہ مدینے کی طرف جاتا تھا اور دوسرا راستہ کربلا کی طرف جاتا تھا. ارے بیویوں نے کہا ہم مدینہ پہلے نہ جائیں گے, ارے پہلے کربلا جا کے اپنے بھیا کا ماتم کریں گے. ادھر سے قافلہ کربلا کی طرف روانہ ہوا. اب جو قبر حسین پہ قافلہ پہنچا, لوگوں نے اپنے آپ کو قبر حسین پہ گرانا شروع کر دیا. ارے اب غم اس قدر غم تھا کہ بیبیاں غش کھا کھا کے گر پڑی. امام نے اپنی پھوپھی کو غش سے اٹھایا, اے پھوپھی اماں اٹھیے. ارے پھوپھی جناب زینب کہتی ہیں ارے میں نے اپنی ہی آنکھوں سے ارے تلے پہ کھڑے ہو کے دیکھا, میرے سامنے میرے ماں جائے کے سر کو تن سے جدا کر دیا گیا. عزیزو اسی واقعے میں ملتا ہے کہ جناب جابر ابن عبداللہ انصاری بھی اپنے ایک ساتھی کے ساتھ امام حسین کی قبر کے پاس آتے ہیں, اور کیونکہ وہ نابینا ہیں پہلے فرات میں جا کے غسل کرتے ہیں, پھر اپنے ساتھی سے کہتے ہیں کہ ذرا میرا ہاتھ پکڑو, مجھے حسین کی قبر پہ لے جاؤ. حسین کی قبر پہ لے کے جب ان کا ساتھی ان کو آتا ہے, کہتا ہے ذرا قبر پہ میرا ہاتھ تو رکھ دو. جناب جابر ارے اتنا گریا کرتے ہیں کہ بے ہوش ہو جاتے ہیں. ذرا بے ہوشی سے افاقہ ہوتا ہے تو کہتے ہیں اے میرے آقا و مولا, ارے کیا اپنے دوست کے سلام کا جواب نہ دیجئے گا؟ ہاں ہاں مجھے معلوم ہے, ارے دشمن نے آپ کے سر کو آپ کے تن سے جدا کر دیا ہے. آپ اگر میرا جواب دینا بھی چاہیں تو آپ مجبور ہیں. چوتھے امام تمام سروں کو ان کے تن سے جوڑتے ہیں, پھر سے قبریں بنائی جاتی ہیں. عزیزو بس ایک واقعہ پڑھ کے آپ کی زحمت کو تمام کروں. امام حسین کے جب جسد اکبر کی طرف نگاہ پڑتی ہے تو کوئی سوال کر لیتا ہے کہ یہ امام کا بدن کے اتنے جو ہے وہ ٹکڑے ٹکڑے کیوں ہیں؟ ارے امام بہت دیر تک گریا کرتے ہیں اور اس کے بعد بتاتے ہیں ارے دشمن اتنا ظالم تھا کہ اس نے سر کو تن سے جدا بھی کر لیا, شہید بھی کر دیا, ہماری ماں بہنوں کے پردے بھی لوٹ لیے, مگر ابھی بھی دشمن کا دل نہ بھرا. کچھ ایسے عرب کے لوگ جمع کیے گئے کہ جو اپنی ولادت میں پاک نہ تھے, اس لیے دشمن کو معلوم تھا کہ جو کام وہ کروانا چاہتا ہے اس کے لیے کوئی حلال زادہ سامنے نہ آئے گا. ارے عرب کے وہ خاص گھوڑے جمع کیے گئے کہ جن کی ٹاپیں بہت زیادہ نوکیلی ہوتی ہیں, ان لوگوں کو گھوڑے پہ بٹھایا گیا. ارے کہاں وہ ہے لاش حسین, اپنے گھوڑوں کو لاش حسین پہ دوڑا دو. ارے میرے مولا کا بدن ٹکڑے ٹکڑے ہو گیا. الا لعنت اللہ علی القوم الظالمین. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. رضا بقضائه وتسليما لأمره. اے میرے معبود ہماری اس مختصر سی عزا کو قبول فرما. یا اللہ محبان اہل بیت جہاں کہیں بھی ہوں ان کی حفاظت و حمایت فرما. دشمنان اہل بیت جہاں کہیں بھی ہوں اگر لائق اصلاح نہ ہو تو ان کو نیست و نابود فرما دے. اے میرے معبود ہمارے علماء کا سایہ ہمارے سروں پر قائم و دائم رکھ. یا اللہ مؤمنین جہاں کہیں بھی ہیں, ایران, عراق, شام, سیریا, جہاں بھی جس مصیبت میں ہیں ان کی حفاظت فرما. یا اللہ دشمنان اسلام کے تمام منصوبوں کو انہی پر پلٹا دے. اے میرے معبود منتقم خون حسین امام زمانہ علیہ السلام کے ظہور میں تعجیل فرما. ہم سب کو ان کے اوان و انصار میں شمار فرما. ماتم حسین.
یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین. اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی رضا, اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی رضا, ہو کے معصوم آئے خم, ہو کے معصوم آئے خم, تم سے دیتی ہے صدا اے میرے رضا اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی رضا تیرا دیدار نہیں ہائے قسمت میں میری تے ہواؤں کو ذرا حکم ہے میرے علی سن لو آواز تیری سن لو آواز تیری دل بہل جائے میرا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی رضا دیکھنے آئی ہوں میں میں صورت تیری اے غریب الغربا دیکھ غربت میری کوئی بتلاتا نہیں کوئی بتلاتا نہیں مجھ کو مشہد کا پتا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی رضا مجھ پہ جو بیت گئے وہ علم کچھ بھی نہیں سامنے زینب کے میرے غم کچھ بھی نہیں مینا بازار گئی مینا بازار گئی ناچنی میری ردا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی رضا جب سے پوچھ رہی ہوں میں خم دل ہے خوابوں میں کہن غم زدہ آئے نظر شہر کے پیر و جون دیکھ کر کالے علم دیکھ کر کالے علم دل دہلتا ہے میرا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی رضا ہوں یتیمہ لیکن وہ یتیمہ تو نہیں قیدی بابا کی قسم میں سکینہ تو نہیں جس کے گوہر بھی چنے جس کے گوہر بھی چنے جس کا دامن بھی جلا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی رضا اے غریب الغربا اے میرے بھائی رضا السلام علیکم یا رسول اللہ السلام علیکم یا فاطمة الزہرا السلام علیکم یا فاطمة السلام ختیجہ کبریٰ السلام علیکم یا حسن مشتبہ السلام علی الحسین وعلی علی ابن حسین وعلی اولاد حسین وعلی اصحاب الحسین خصوصاً سیدی یا مولا یا ابو الفضل عباس واقعة زینب وام کلثوم وبنت سکینہ السلام علیکم سائر شہداء دشت کربلا جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا غريب الغربة السلام عليك يا معين الزرقاء والفقراء أشمشي شموس فإني سنفوس أيها المدفونة برزتوس فجد الله وشفيع بعض المدفونة جزاء برحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك يا مولانا يا صاحب رأس والزمان السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن السلام عليك يا مظهر الإيمان السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان أجل الله تعالى فرجا وسهلا تعالى مخرجا وزهورك إن شاء الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Jazakallah everyone for attending. May Allah and be Fatima Kunin accept our